Let's talk baseball. How about that game, huh? Wow. What a great event that was. It was really something. Something to learn. Okay, what do we got here? This is Wednesday on Thursday, right? So you guys are all screwed up, and so I'll try to get you back, reel you back in here so you can get right. Really good matchup coming up. New team for us. New coach that we haven't really had much background with, and so it'll be fun to go ahead and prepare this one, see if we can get revved up for a great Monday night ball game. I'd like to start it out thinking that this is a great opportunity for the 12s. They get to go kind of national in this one, and I'm hoping that they'll come in just pumped and jacked up, and we'll show them what it's like playing Century Link. So I'm not only calling out our club, I'm calling out the 12s to let's bring it on Monday night, so it'll be fun. You can take that as a challenge if you want. Have to, but
have they ever not brought a Pete?
This is a great opportunity to even step it up. Even we can always get a little bit better.
You said there was a lot to learn from the baseball game. What'd you learn?
Yeah, I thought I wish we could have heard more from the Indians players because what I was so impressed with was just the makeup of those guys on that team. You know, all the way across the board, they're just such solid, competitive, team-oriented, tough guys. You know, and with a lot of leadership and respect for the kind of the older guys and the whole thing with Ross. I just thought that was just an extraordinary illustration of a great team, and Coach Madden did a fantastic job with those guys. And like I said, I wish I could have heard from the Indians because I'm sure that they were the same, to get that far, to play like they played all year long. So it was something for our guys to see and to witness, and we're grateful for that.
Have you gotten to know Joe Madden at all? Or?
No, not much.
Did Michael Bennett have a surgery yesterday? And how
He
did
did.
it go?
Everything went really well, and it was exactly like expected. So that's will allow us to be optimistic about a 3-week type of window maybe, and we'll see if he's able to pull that off. We'll be very fortunate if he does, but that's kind of how we're shooting for it. And so they said 2 to 3 weeks if he's really fortunate. We'll see if that happens. Along with that, we can think that way. Luke is really close too. Here it is, 2 weeks for Luke, and he's battling to get back out this week. So we'll see if that works. But so we're pretty optimistic.
What's the plan with Bradley Sowell this week?
It's a day by day. We're going to work him out each day and see how he goes and see where he is by the end of the week.
How about Cam?
We'll see. He's still recovering though. He's not back yet. He won't practice today.
Kevin Pierre-Louis?
Got a chance. And we're going to watch him every day, see how he does too as he's coming back. He was close last week, but he's still got to prove it to us and see how he can handle the workload like we always do. So I can't tell you right now what's going to happen there.
With Cam, has there been a setback, or is it just continuing the process?
After about 10 days, he tried and it just didn't feel right, and so that it showed that he wasn't making the progress that we could have hoped for. So it's just set him back a bit in that regard.
Pete, over the years, your offenses have tended to get better in the second half of the season. Are you seeing some of the same trends early in the season that you guys have been able to remedy this year? Do you feel that you guys are on track for the kind of improvement you've seen?
The issues are a little different. They're always kind of different, and they're a little different than they've been in other years. But yet, I'm counting on that. I'm counting on us taking a turn here and things picking back up for all the obvious reasons. Russell's getting better. What's wrong? I didn't hear anything. Russell is getting better, and that's a big deal. And we're really glad to see him feel better and be able to do more and all of that. And that's a big part of it. But we have to execute better as well. And we've got to give our guys a good chance to unload. And that's what we're hoping to do is in the next coming weeks. And I hope it'll be obvious.
When you say he's feeling good, do you have a percentage, Pete? Do you think that he's back to normal or not?
No, I don't know that. I don't know percentages. He's just better.
Are there other markers that you look at or that tend to be consistent from year to year where when the offense is going to turn the corner, whether it's carries, yards, number of plays per game, any other markers?
And like I said, Janice, it's been different, and different issues. Last year at this time, it was a protection problem, and we've really fixed things and sped up everything, and we really caught fire. This year, we're way, way ahead of that in protection issues and stuff. So there's just some different things. I think it's pretty obvious that we know we're going to get better if we can just keep healing, and so it's just a matter of time.
You mentioned the protection, 12 sacks this year, 31 at this time a year ago. How much of that's Russell getting rid of the ball, the guys blocking, some combination of
I
both?
think we picked up where we left off in terms of the connection between the timing of the past game and what we're doing up front. Our numbers are following right in line with what it was for the second half of last season. So we're pleased to see that happen. And even after a little bit shaky start, we've really rounded into pretty good shape there. We can do better. We can improve at it. But it is a factor of the connection of the tempo of the throwing game as well as what the guys are doing up front.
Aside from 2013, you guys have always been a second half team in terms of the season. Is that coincidence, or do you chalk that up to something? In terms of
You know, just through the little history that we have here and before I got here, we've been that way. And I have some thoughts about it, but I don't really have it nailed, but I count on it now. You know, I do count on us really improving and playing better as we get down the stretch. And the closer we get to the finish, the better we want to play. And that's kind of how we've kind of constructed our mentality. And it's worked out pretty well. So here we are right now. We're not even at the halfway point yet until after this week. But I think it's time to kick into the mode. It's time to go. And so hopefully we'll see something happen here.
Whether it's zone read stuff, play action stuff, how much of your offense do you feel you haven't had at your disposal because of Russ's limitations?
You have to figure that out, Curtis. I don't know. I'm not going to give you that thought.
I mean, how much is your defense being hurt by the time of possession numbers just being totally?
It's a factor. Sure, it's a factor. But the defense, really, to stay on them, too, they have to contribute by getting off the field also on third down. You know, we didn't have to give up 70% conversions last week, and we did. So, but certainly it does work hand in hand. It's what I said, I think, I don't know when it was, first day this week or right after the game. We need to complement our play better and just feed off of one another in the way we're doing things to maximize. And that's not quite right yet. So I'm hoping as we turn and we can get a little more efficient on O, that'll help in all ways. And also count on the defense to get back to the numbers that we've been putting up here early in the year.
You mentioned last week that you wanted to run the ball more. How much is that being hurt by?
I think I've said that about 6 weeks in a row.
How much is that being hurt by the penalties, putting you in second and long, first and long, and then also just what teams are doing against you defensively?
Yeah, I tried to make an illustration of that by just laying out how the drives went last week, for instance. And last week, excuse me, last week's game, the first half we didn't have a chance to get the reps unless we make a couple more first downs. Remember that we scored on defense. We scored in 3 plays on offense. We turned it over after 2 plays. So and those were 4 of the, and then we were in 2 minutes. You know, those were 4 of the 5 drives or whatever. So we just had a minimal amount of plays, unfortunately, and particularly in a normal mode. So it all figures in, you know, and so.
Cliff Avrill's been such a big part of the defense for years. Did he tweak something that makes him more noticeable now and this year and getting some of those awards?
Yeah, just to recognize that Cliff is named NFC Defensive Player of the Month, I think is really great recognition because we've seen his play be so on in a lot of different ways, whether it's rushing the passer, pressuring, or getting his sacks, or knocking balls loose, or knocking balls down. He's been just a great factor, and in the running game too. So he's played beautiful football. I'm not sure how to connect it other than Cliff had a great offseason. He was really healthy through the offseason. He hasn't had to miss any time at all. He's made it through with just minimal amount of issues at this time. So he's really at his best. A year ago, he came in, just, you know, fortunately made it to camp and kind of we had to take care of him. I think he's had a great year. Everything's fit together and he's playing like crazy. And so really fired up for him.
Is this the best that he's played since he's come to Seattle?
I think it's the most consistent he's been on. Yeah, he's always been a good player for us, but I think it's recognized now that, you know, he is a big factor, and he's been really, you know, putting up numbers and so clearly obvious, you know, the way he's doing things that I think it's the best start he's had.
How has Christian Michael handled the maintenance of being the every down back?
He's doing fine, and you know, unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to overload him yet. You know, he's had kind of in the 15 to 18, 19 carries, that's kind of on the low side for carrying the big load. But he's handled it very well. He's been very healthy and fit to practice all the time, and has been able to practice at a high tempo. So he's handling it really well right now.
Brought in Monterey Moore. What do you see out of him as a pass rusher?
This is a very aggressive kid. Been very active. He fits the style of the motor that he brings, the toughness that he shows, the special teams involvement. He's blocked kicks before. He's had some pretty good numbers and stuff. He's had some stuff that's gone on where he's bounced from a lot of teams. We're hoping to even that out and really see if we can make him a real contributing factor.
Did you hear from the NFL on any of the penalty kind of stuff, specifically
Yeah, I did.
the time? Anything you would want to share?
We communicated really well, and pretty much the calls that you thought were obvious were pretty obvious, and so sometimes it happens that way. I think there's some other things that happened in that game that we learned from as well. Like I told you, I wanted to gain some information on some of the things that how they're how they discern what the action that's going on with the receivers and the DBs. We learned some stuff there, so it was a good exchange. Nothing we can do about it. That was last week.
Did they say whether the clock should have stopped at that point at about 2:40 to go?
Yes, they did say that.
They said it should have stopped.
Oh, no, they just said that. They commented on it.
What did they tell you about whether the operation of the clock on that?
I'm not giving you their stuff. I'm gonna keep it in-house, so they'll keep telling me stuff.
Mike Pereira was on my show and said he's never seen a ref throw a flag with a smile on his face when Earl hugged the ref after the fumble return. What's your take on that? And is there a kind of maybe a lesson there for Earl?
I saw it like Mike did, when I was talking to the guy, and somehow, it crossed over into the contact with the official instead. But it was a pretty interesting moment. We're not going to do that again, but. Fortunately, we kicked the ball deep and they had some problems with it, so it didn't hurt us at all. So Earl got his chance to celebrate with the official for one time in his career. It'll never happen again.
Richard was pretty emotional after the game, but talking about the officiating, he said, "We're the Seahawks," almost implying like that the refs are, lasering in on one team. Have you ever seen anything like that in your coaching career, where a team would bring something out of the refs that other teams wouldn't?
Matter of fact, I have. Yeah, I have for a long time. I've got real history in that regard. We understand the way we communicate about it is that it's just factors that you just have to overcome, and that's just the way it is. I have a real history of, not just here, that goes back. Some of you guys know about that. It's just the way it is. So we're just going to keep playing over and above and do everything we can and really interpret, the rule of the day and make sure we understand what's going on in all areas and try to be as smart as we possibly can to minimize, any kind of factor that comes from that side.
Something like that might happen.
I don't know. If I knew that, I would fix it. But I've watched this for a long time and just what you deal with, and it's an interesting phenomenon.
Is your aggressive defense just part of it? Penalties become part of the cost of doing business the way you want to do it?
Well, all I can tell you is it's happened, in the years past. Our style of play has always kind of left us in this same kind of situation where we're talking about the same topic, and there's some things about it that I would never change. I'm never going to back off of what we expect our guys to do in terms of their effort and their toughness and finish on plays, and then we just have to overcome that factor, because that's, I think, what makes us what we are also. So we just have to kind of deal with it.
Pete, what are your thoughts on potentially facing Percy Harvin Monday night?
Oh, I think it'd be great. He's coming off the couch. I don't know how much Percy's been working, but he's a great football player and he's a great athlete. And if anybody can come out and do something special, he's capable. Coming right from not playing to playing. Remember, he's extraordinarily fast. He's really tough. He's a great competitor. We always, saw that in him. So if anybody could come out of nowhere and make some plays, he could do it.
How would you describe his time here?
Pardon me?
How would you describe Percy's time?
Great Super Bowl. Phenomenal effect he had on us then, and then we had to just make an adjustment on our roster, and we did it. It was just something we needed to do football-wise.
Their running game and McCoy, and the number 2 in the league in rushes.
Yeah, they're really good, and the big factor is Taylor. Tyrod, he is a big factor. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. He's run the ball almost 50 times already, and he's really a great addition to what they're doing. There's nobody more difficult to tackle in the open field than Shady. He's just as tough as you can get. He's averaging 5'3" or something. Gillislee's averaging 6'5", so everybody that touches the ball is averaging halfway to a first down. So this is a really difficult offense and a really committed, wide open running game, and a lot of stuff that they do. So it's a good challenge for our guys, and this is the kind of challenge our guys love, and they're fired up about figuring it out and kind of unraveling the mystery a little bit about figuring out where the ball's going, and hopefully we'll do a nice job there.
Overall around the league, rushing numbers are down a little bit, passing numbers are the highest they've ever been. Is it any harder to run the ball, or is it just more kind of tempting to pass the ball, given the way things are going?
I think as we grow, just evolve, the passing game just gets easier. I think it gets easier for the quarterbacks, it's easier for the coaches, that doesn't help the defenses at all. They get more confident in being able to control the ball by throwing it. Efficiency's a little bit better. I think that's what you're seeing. The guys just keep getting better at it. There used to be in the old days you worried about throwing the ball. You might throw an interception. That's not in anybody's mindset anymore. You know that can happen, but it's the way to go for most people. So,
Is there something to be done to keep Christian Michael on his feet and inbounds?
We're always coaching. We're coaching our guys in all areas.
How much more of a factor could CJ Procise be, and not just the third down back roll, but in kind of the...
Yeah, I think you're going to see it. We're really excited about his involvement, and want to continue to keep him in the mix. And he showed very well. I don't think the first game really got us enough to really know anything. I think this second game we saw a little bit more, and hopefully we'll just keep growing with him. But I'm really excited, and this is his kind of like his third preseason game. He's way behind, and so we don't have all of the information that we need, but we're really excited about what he brings. And he's a great kid studying. He's learning his stuff. He's really applying himself. He hasn't missed out on practice time. He just missed out on game time. So we're just trying to get him involved more and see if we can keep him contributing.
Was that drive he got in the third quarter, was that programmed in, or was that just spur of the moment game time?
Yes.
What are the
Game time?
All of that.
What are the challenges a team that blitzes like Buffalo does presents to a quarterback?
Well, they are leading the league in sacks, so that's the challenge, that they can get to the quarterback. Alexander's got 9. They got some guys that are bringing the heat. The challenge is that you're trying to avoid the negative plays and keep on track without that factoring in. Steady pressure usually affects the QB and how he sees things and his timing and all of that. That's why we try to rush the guys that are good. So that's one of the best ways to offset their efficiency and all. So if you're effective pressuring, then it can be a problem. And so we have to handle it really well. We got to hopefully make them pay when they pressure, because we see it, we pick it up, and we get guys open. We take advantage of the one-on-ones and that kind of stuff. That's kind of how that works.
What did you see from CJ running the ball specifically?
He ran well. He was elusive. He ran tough. He's got terrific speed. So we're excited to see more. We really have not seen very much of him running the ball when he's getting tackled, so we're kind of learning as we go. We're going off what we saw in college and what we've seen in camp and through the prep time. But he's a very instinctive runner. He's been very creative when he runs. We just haven't had a lot of chances to see that yet. Almost split the linebackers, on a check down in a crucial part of the game. What could have made a huge play, made a very good play. I think everything should get better as he just gets more turns.
There were a couple plays where it looked like he was pretty physical. Was that show up in like his college tape?
Yes, it did. Yeah. He'd hit and bounce off guys, spin, glance off of tacklers. All of that has been. He looks the same in the limited amount of chances that we've had. So we're really optimistic.
What is it more than coincidence, the primetime record, the Monday night record you've had here, the teams, players?
It's probably coincidence.
The player, is there a different vibe? You preach every week the same, but the record's 15-3 or whatever it is, 10 wins in a row on Monday night. Do you attribute it to anything in particular with the players?
I think, I do. I attribute it to the way our guys understand those kinds of moments and opportunities and how they apply themselves. I think they understand it really well, and they bring their best games week after week after week, and those situations are no different for us. We try to do it exactly the same, and I'm just proud to show you those numbers, because that's an accomplishment, because not everybody does that. But it's our guys figuring out how to bring their best regardless of what the circumstances are.
What are you seeing from Tyler Lockett, the way he's moving around after battling?
He's getting there. He's getting better. Yeah, he's almost back. He's almost back to full speed. Did a nice job in the return game. I'm hoping that there's an emergence of a few guys here that we're really excited about, and Tyler's one of them for sure. He feels pretty darn good this week.
Frank Clark made his first start last Sunday. What do you think about how he performed in that?
He did well. He can be more precise about his stuff. He missed some opportunities. Was a little sloppy at times, just taking advantage of good technique. Showed really good motor, and again, he continues to show us playmaking. He makes things happen. He's really explosive, and he plays really hard with good motor that gives him a chance. So we're really excited about him continuing to emerge. He's going to obviously play a lot again this week, and we're going to continue. If he plays a little cleaner, he could have played a great game last week, and so that'll come. That'll come.
Progressing as a run defender.
He's doing fine. He can do everything we're asking him to do. He really had to play in a place that he hasn't played a lot of football at. You know, he played in exactly where Mike played. So there was some newness there. That's why he was a little off. Wasn't quite as sharp as he will be in the next couple of weeks.
Well, how much has Kelsey McRae improved just in these last 3 games?
I think he's playing, comfortably with our guys. As always, as they work together, they communicate better. They feel one another. They can play off of each other better. I think that there's a comfort that's developed that's going to help us in the interim while we're waiting for Cam to get back.
Quarterbacks who tend to succeed in the face of pressure or do well against the blitz, what are the kind of traits that they tend to have?
I think they're really composed competitors, guys that are comfortable with stuff getting crazy, because it gets crazy. You can feel it happening. Do you respond to it and change your game, or do you chill and make the plays that you're capable of making? Do you make good decisions to avoid properly? It's really the poise that comes with that that separates guys, and usually that's experience. Usually it is, not always. There's some guys that can do it, just kind of, they've been brought up that way, but most of the time you got to get experienced and get cool with it and handle it.
How did Tanner McAvoy get on your guys' radar back in the pre-draft process, and what'd you like about him to fit into this role?
I think in our effort to find unique players, I think he fell into that category. He had an extraordinary background, as the quarterback and a receiver and a safety and all of that, and a wildcat dude. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. So we got to see him in a lot of. And matter of fact, I stuck him over there on defense to see what he looked like at safety first, to see how he would fit back there, and really feel like he's way better suited to be on offense and play at the receiver spot. He's not going to play a lot of quarterback for us. We've made that determination already, but. What's interesting about him is that he also contributes on special teams. He's a tough guy for being he's almost 6'6". He runs well. He's really got great athleticism and timing and stuff. But he's a very inexperienced receiver. He's going to be way better in the next couple of years. He'll just understand how to use his body and the size that he has. He has a great catching range. But I like the best part about it, to me, it tops off with the toughness. He's really a tough guy, and that's important for us.
Pete, in the last 6 games with Russell, did you guys...
We're just going to stay here through lunch if you guys are okay with that.
Did you guys come close at all to sitting Russell down for a week with the injuries?
Every week. Yeah, every week it was a concern. And as the issues changed, he was able to work his way through it. But it was of a concern. Everybody didn't know if he was going to make it through the week. And so... had we sat him down, we would have had to sit him down for about 5 weeks for him to recover from everything. If he said, okay, let's wait till he's feeling good. Well, we're about that point right now. So 5-6 weeks, whatever it is.
Has his conditioning changed or anything like that, just because he's had to spend so much time doing rehab?
He's been accenting his stuff with other alternatives to make sure that he can stay fit and keep his weight in order and keep moving and all.
Just to be clear, that's past tense, though, was a concern. I just wanted to...
What's a concern? In reference to which question there?
About Russell Wilson, you're saying every week it was a consideration to sit him down.
Yes.
He's through that.
That's good. That's a very accurate observation right there. That's right. Was. Past tense. We're okay now, yeah.
Thank you.